welcome back to another episode of Time Out with Kyseé. This is the Conversations with Kyseé edition. Thank you so much for being here with us. Joining us today is Willie Snell, my uncle, and a lifelong Long Branch resident, a proud military veteran, and a dedicated local historian. Willie has spent years preserving the rich history of this vibrant community, ensuring that its stories and heritage live on for generations. His commitment to education and knowledge has also earned him the prestigious title of Long Branch, the Librarian Champion, as well a well-deserved honor for his tireless advocacy in keeping history accessible to all. From his first-hand experiences growing up in Long Branch to his service in the military and his passion for community storytelling, Willie has an incredible journey to share. What we're diving into the past, celebrating the present, and looking forward to what's ahead for our beloved shore town. So sit back, tune in, and get ready for this fascinating conversation with my uncle, Willie Big Snell. So welcome, Uncle. I want to give you some clapping. Of course, we're going to tweet it to him. Yeah. I don't know why. Well, yeah, we're going to clap because he's here. Guys, in case you didn't realize what I was saying, we're going to be talking about the history of Black history of Long Branch. You know, Uncle we always talk and stuff, and I was like, I just wanted to be able to spotlight Long Branch just because I know we have a few situations that I just feel like I want to highlight. And the first one we're going to go into is, first we're going to let Uncle tell us a little about you and what made you want to start like really diving in and finding out Long Branch history. What's your journey?
Good morning, everyone. First thing, I really started doing Long Branch history. Goes back to 2008. I was working at the library, and the director asked me to manage the local history room at the library. Well, it was just on the weekend, 12 to 3. So I remember my first day going into this history room. And the first thing I looked for is the Black history, but there wasn't any. So I explained to the director that there's no Black history in Long Branch in this room. She said, well, why don't you start some?
I love her for that.
So that's what I did.
I love her for that.
So I've been doing Black history in Long Branch since 2008.
I love that. And Uncle, he always has pictures, microfiche, all kinds of information that he just loves to share with us.
So I have some of these questions here that I'm generally usually asked a lot.
Okay.
Like, how did I get started? What inspired me was because there was no history. And I knew...
We got plenty of history.
I knew that there was Black history in Long Branch, but no one never brought it out.
Right. So let's talk about some of that. Can you share some of the early history about Black community in Long Branch?
Exactly.
Let's go ahead. Let's go back.
So, my best resources are newspapers. So I could tap into newspaper.com and I could get just about any article.
I had no idea
about Negro, but back then we were called colored. So that's what I did.
And this is newspaper.com?
Newspaper.com. And I started in 1900, of course. This was research. This is where you have to read. So then one of my first articles of finding was a student by the name of Lucy Scott. She bears the distinction of being the first colored pupil to graduate at State Normal School of Trenton, that is now the College of New Jersey.
Yes!
She was a member of this year's class and would probably be employed in a colored school in her hometown. So that led me to Liberty Street School, built in 1903. All colored school.
It was all colored school?
Only colored school in Long Branch.
I didn't know it was an all colored school. This is it?
Unfortunately, this is a 2-room building, but it was a 1-room school. So now in 1903, they built this 2 rooms. So in 1924, they put on 2 more rooms. So now it was a 4-room school with an auditorium. For the blacks, that was a blessing.
Oh, okay.
Because they had
Let me
very
show the
little
viewers
or
this.
nothing.
Let me show you guys how this was the school.
So they had very little or nothing. So I'm finding I'm really digging in now. So things are getting more interesting. That's really grabbing me. So then I look some more. Now I can get to 1907. So rich Long Branch was in Black history that no one knew. So I get to 1907, and I find out that Long Branch had a black undertaker, and his name was Richard Llewellyn.
Okay, Richard Llewellyn.
Richard Llewellyn, his name was.
I never knew any of this.
First black undertaker in Long Branch.
First black undertaker in Long Branch. And I try to Google him too. It's not, well, now I know about newspaper.com. I'm definitely going to,
That's where I get most of my, I also got to tell you about the first black hotel in Monmouth County.
And this is it here.
The first black hotel.
Oh, this is for the undertaker. He died. Brain inflammation.
Yeah, he went to New York and got mugged. Came back to Long Branch, but never went to a doctor.
Oh, wow. Is this him?
It's him.
Handsome guy.
Yeah.
So he got abused.
Yeah.
And then he didn't go to the doctor. And then
Came back to Long Branch, but he never went to a doctor. He had a head injury.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
So this is now, we're talking 19, what did I say?
1907.
07.
I need my glasses.
So we're still in the early 1900s.
It's still in the early 1900s.
In Long Branch. So far, some of these things I was amazed because no one ever even mentioned about the blacks in Long Branch that early in the year. This is a black policeman. His name is Charles Phillips. This is all still. We're still in the 1900s.
So he's the only one.
Right.
He's the only black cop in Long Branch.
Yeah.
What an honor! Is this family? Does he still have lineage here? Did he live? Do we know if he was from Long Branch?
Yeah, he lived on Rockwell Avenue.
Okay.
Lived on Rockwell Avenue. This is Dr. McKelvey.
I remember Dr. McKelvey. I think that was
McKelvey
Darlene's
the
doctor.
first black member of the Board of Education, as you see it reads here. The first Negro to be appointed to the board.
I think he birthed Darlene, if I'm not mistaken.
He could have. He didn't have privileges at Monmouth Medical Center.
No,
so
I remember
he had to use hazard.
It was a place over. I feel like it was like over there in. It's still Long Branch, but over where on 36 where the CVS is. I feel like she said, but like behind there, over that way, that's where he was.
No, not that far.
Oh,
you know
no?
where the railroad tracks are on your line?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you take a left, it was down Washington Street.
Okay. Okay. Why I don't know.
This is Asbury Smallwood. He's the first minister at Second Baptist.
The Second Baptist is what? Asbury or Long Branch?
Long Branch.
Oh, wow. I never knew. Yeah. And this is when? When is this?
Yeah.
1905.
So I'm getting all this stuff in the 19s. It's like, this is crazy. How come no one ever bothered to bring this stuff up?
Yeah. I never knew this. Our Long Branch, Second Baptist, the one we go to.
Yeah. And this is the Cornerstone celebration when they had the Cornerstone. I've read it now, it's still there.
Wow. Okay. So we're learning. More learning.
Yeah.
What else we got?
This is I'm going to show you the first black hotel. It was right on the beach.
So when you said first black hotel, tell me where,
In
like,
Monmouth County.
I mean, like, Pier Village, Fountains, down which, like,
They weren't black.
if I had to go down to the beach right now for the first black hotel, where would I have gone? Where would it have been? If
Right on Laird Street. Right?
Is that the old Fountain Hotel?
No, not even that far. Laird Street is when you come behind. Laird Street is behind where the new senior center is.
Oh, okay.
That's Laird Street.
Oh,
See, but there used to be houses. They tore them all down and put that out.
I remember that. So I remember when Andre's house got tore down.
Oh, they burned. They
It was way before then.
yeah, wait for them.
Oh wow.
They tore them houses down. That's a parking lot.
Yeah, it's a parking lot now. Eminent domain. That's the first time I heard about eminent domain. Okay,
Yeah,
so he was the first one to get his license.
Right, but you got to read this part here. There's a little humor in this.
Judge Helsley told Hardy he would have to close at 11 o'clock each night. The judge said there was no law to make Handy close at that hour, but he would have to, as Negroes are prone to disorder in Long Branch late at night. Wow.
Right.
That's not even funny. That's a little bit...
No.
I mean, did we have a reputation for it?
It goes back to 1939.
But I mean, at this time, was Long Branch out of control?
Rowdy?
Yeah.
The way they make it sound, it sounds like
but
they are.
You can't always trust them.
Yeah. But then you have to also realize that Long Branch had liquor and betting. Asbury didn't allow it.
Oh, so it was plenty of riffraff here then.
Yeah. The Bradley discovered Asbury. He wanted to build a wall.
What?
So people from Asbury couldn't come to Long Branch and vice versa. Yeah, he wanted to build a wall. Bradley.
Wow.
Like Bradley Beach, he was a Methodist minister.
Wow.
And that's why he didn't want his people to mingle with to Long Branch people.
The audacity.
And especially blacks.
The audacity.
They still don't want that too much. This is now we're kind of moving up.
Okay.
So this is the first black fireman.
Oh, okay. Junius E. Bass Jr.
Right.
I know what Junius.
It took
His name is B. Starts with a B too. I think his middle name is E. Look at that. The first Negro to be elected to the Long Branch Fire Department, and we congratulate the Atlantic Engine and the Truck Company also for their good sense in taking such action. In these days of bitterness and hatred, wow, it is refreshing to read of an act of goodwill that will go long into reducing bitterness between the races. Of course, this is only a start, but it's important because it shows the way our best to...
it shows the way.
But they were so blunt about... I mean, this is all well, it was a secret racism, but it's not. It was.
Well, the question was asked far before he was granted permission to join the library. The question was asked way back in early 40s. Can we have a black fireman?
Wow. The fact that you have to go ask.
Yeah, you had to go ask.
And this is where DEI comes into play. Again, this is exactly why I was born. Situations like this. Why should we have to ask to have a black undertaker? I mean, a black fireman.
So there was a lot that you had to ask for. This is an article where the coloreds beaches were taken away from them. They were chased off of the beaches. The beaches that we have now here in Long Branch. At one time, they didn't want the coloreds to have a beach. So of course they protested. Some girls were even arrested for swimming on a beach that wasn't designated for the coloreds.
Wow.
They were arrested. All that beach and they arrested 2 girls for supposedly...
Well, you know what that's all about. They want to be in control.
Oh, yeah. They wanted to arrest them for supposedly swimming on the beach that you're not to be on. You couldn't... If you bought a beach badge, you could only use it on a certain beach. Not the public, not like now. You could only use it on... And if you got caught, of course, swimming on the beach where you're not supposed to be...
Well, I would love to know what they thought was going to happen if they swam close to us. Clearly nothing happened.
Very little happened. I mean, things happen, but I wouldn't say it was so bad that that it was ignored. A lot of it was ignored.
Of course, because you know.
And a lot of running around. Well, we'll look into it. Then next week you get them in again. We're still looking into it. You know, things like that.
Yeah.
They do that now.
Yeah, it's very.
Yeah, they do that now.
But now, like before, it was just like it was more dressed up. Now, well, no, now it's more dressed up. Back then, like
Now it's more dressed up.
They don't care. That's crazy. So, were we the only one? Did we have to? We had to pay. Well, I mean, because New Jersey is like the only people in the world that has to pay for beaches.
Yeah.
As crazy
now,
as that is.
Yeah, that's not.
All right, so who's next? What's next? We're getting later.
Yeah, we're getting to where we had some of our prominent black people that contributed to a lot of the community that we have now. Unfortunately, our community is declining. Mm-hmm. So neighborhoods are changing. No neighborhood is the same, and they probably never will be.
Right, like it's on this street, like we're the only originals left on this street.
Right. Yeah. And I can go back to when we first moved on this street. Mm-hmm. There was a couple people that were kind of upset that blacks moved on the street. If it was up to them, they wouldn't have no blacks at all on the street.
Miss Camerano, wasn't that her name?
Right across the street.
I remember that name. My mother had plenty of stories about this lady. You told me too, because you said she used to come outside and talk about y'all was cutting the grass too early.
Too early, yeah. She said it was making too much noise. So actually, a cop actually came and said, we're getting complaints from the neighbors that you made. I said, I'm cutting the hedges. Clip, 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 clip. They said it's too loud.
Clip, 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 clip. Not even the ones that you use now.
Nope. The hand ones. Yes, and she was very upset with the man who sold the house. Mm-hmm. He was a barber. He was a very modest man. Mm-hmm.
He probably left because of...
He was a barber on Broadway, but he had a barber shop right across the street from City Hall.
Yeah, barbers are real people because they deal with everybody. So
yeah.
He probably left because he didn't want to be bothered with the racism that was going on.
Well, that could have been because they definitely own straight that side of the street from here down to Long Island. They own that. Those houses that sit in the back.
Miss Camerano.
Yeah, they own it. And where the laundromat is, that was a bar. They own that also.
It was a bar before.
Oh yeah.
Before
July Avenue bar.
Really? What side? The funeral home? No, the church.
That was a bar. The whole.
The cleaners too.
Yep.
Wow. So when did it change over to the cleaners and the funeral home?
Oh, all that other stuff had closed. They had a liquor store that closed.
There was a liquor store there too?
Yeah.
What else
where the laundromat was the liquor store.
Okay.
That's where the cleaners was. That was the liquor store. And then the other part, where's the church now, that was the bar.
So, wow.
Yeah, they own that from here all the way down to Jalan.
I would love to, I'm sure she's good and dead now. But I would love to
see. She's gone now. Probably very few of her family are living. Not many of them are living. So the black-owned businesses, that has declined. There used to be corner stores, Mr. Holders on Liberty Street.
That lady down there in the corner. I forgot that lady.
Yeah,
that black lady and her husband.
Yeah.
She kept getting robbed though.
Her husband went to the bathroom and never came out.
Oh, he died?
He had a heart attack in the toilet.
Get out of where? There?
No, not there.
Oh, that's probably why she closed it.
Yeah, she did. Her son's a state trooper.
Oh, really? I wonder how that lady's doing.
She's a nice lady, but she couldn't keep that going.
No, and she was always getting robbed too. She was always getting robbed. Wow. So when did it change over into the cleaners? Did it change over immediately into the cleaners,
No.
or
No.
so?
No, they came from just cleaners open. I said, Dad had the cleaners in Asbury at first. Bunny was working.
No, he had that one. That one Jet was way before Utopia.
It came from Fort Mountain.
Yeah, that one Jet was before Utopia. Jet was for a long. Utopia didn't happen until I think, in like about 7th grade.
Yeah, that was.
That's when that happened. That's when that came.
They didn't have many black-owned businesses.
But the funeral. So when it became the funeral home.
That was a partnership with Jackson.
Okay, so he was already. So yeah, okay. So
they couldn't do any.
I do remember that. Granny didn't have any.
They did all the cosmetic stuff at Jackson. Then they brought just for showing. You could show about it. There was no.
That's a great business to get into.
For embalming or anything.
Wow.
But it was partnering with Jackson.
That's a great situation to get into.
So we haven't had any real black-owned businesses. It's been a while, and the most they owned was maybe a small store.
So wait, yeah. What about? I know they said didn't my grandfather have a store?
He had a restaurant.
Oh, he had a restaurant.
Yeah.
Oh, how long was that open?
That was open for a while. The building is still there. That's the Latino church now. We passed it.
Oh, the Tally Ho?
Across the street. Yes, the Tally Ho.
That's where how big was the restaurant?
It was more like a luncheonette. Counter. A lot of counter chairs in the row. They probably had a couple of spaces for table and chairs. But Mr. Bartee had that for a while.
Really?
And so did Miss Brewer and her husband had it for a while also.
So they had it after him?
After him, yeah.
So when did he stop? Did he stop when he died? He got sick, or?
I'm not sure the year.
I have to. That's an Anjoni question.
Yeah, that's the year. I'm not sure of.
I should have had them on here too. We could all chat it, but she can still give me her history, her Black history of Long Branch too. Shoot, she still can. I have to ask her that, or on Glory. I don't see.
Yeah, they could probably tell you that more.
I know Emmett always talk about his ribs and his spaghetti. Oh my God, he's the same way with Porgy now. He loved Porgy ribs and his spaghetti. That's what he was. That motherfucker can cook shit.
Mr. Holden owned a store right across. Used to be right across the street from the church.
Wow.
Holden's Confectionery. But there wasn't a lot of black owned.
Confectionery store. So what is that? What is that? Just like a regular.
Yeah, he was selling chips, sodas, candy. That was a stop before you get a lot of Sunday school money. Never made it.
Tired of money for the envelope.
Never made it.
Nuts.
Them quarters and 50 cents, and he put this in Sunday school. All of them didn't make it.
Yeah, I believe that.
Because you had to pass that store. You get the 5-cent bag of potato chips, sour grape bubble gum. Sour grape bubble gums. You get a popsicle.
Wow.
All this for a nickel. It only costs a nickel if you only have 35 cents.
Listen,
Sunday school ain't getting all that.
Now, when I hear Trump say, like, make America great again, I think of stuff like that. Stuff being cheap, like when gas was 90 cents for a gallon, and my apartment was $500.
Oh, yeah.
Those prices are great. Everybody would love those prices again.
If you look in the old newspapers, you see the prices of milk and meat and stuff like that. And it's like, wow, they were living large. You can't touch none of this stuff now.
No, yeah, you can't.
Eggs,
Wow.
Loaf of bread, nah. You can't go nowhere near some of that.
So let's talk about let's talk about some notable figures from Long Branch who played a significant role. I would think
one of them is definitely Bucky.
Bucky James.
Yeah, Bucky James.
Let's talk about him. Who was he?
He was the black Santa Claus.
This is my cousin Yvette.
And
how old was she here? 5?
Yeah, she's 5.
She was 5 in this picture. How old is she now?
She
about
gotta
65?
be 65. Yeah.
So we're going back. We're moving up in time now.
Yeah, we're moving up in time.
Okay.
So his life was definitely devoted to kids. He loved to be around kids. And he would go from project to project. We're talking Garfield Court, Grand Court, and Seaver Manor, to hand out gifts to kids. Now you have to understand that those projects were just about all the blacks had. They didn't have much more than that.
It was fun too back in the day.
Than the projects. And all the kids in the projects, of course, they went to Liberty Street School. So that's when the school start having enough students to keep it open. That's when they decided to close it. So that also did was change that neighborhood, change their environment, change the black community environment completely. Because at that time, the blacks depended on church and school, and of course the jobs they had, and that was pretty much it. No one was, as you say, rich. No one. That was way out of the question.
Wealthy. So
the priorities were church, school, and work. And of course, if you was paying your rent and all that, you were good. You were good. And those were the things that impact the black community at that time. Segregation was still very much alive. There were some places that the blacks knew they couldn't. They couldn't go, and they wouldn't go.
That is so weird to me, especially now with Long Branch being a melting pot that it is. If there's a racist in Long Branch, I hate it for you.
Oh, it was I would say a mild racist. It was no signs up or anything that said, whites only, none of that. But sometimes you go into an area and you could feel like I'm not supposed. I'm not supposed to be here.
I think that's a perfect segue into.
Yeah. So I think it happened when the schools became integrated, like in 1947. This school became integrated. Other than that, it was all black.
And why did they get rid of it? They couldn't stand the Negroes over there getting the proper education?
Well, they said that the enrollment was declining, so it wasn't enough kids.
Was it state owned? Was it state
no, it was city owned. And the other thing was, one part of Garfield Court was all white.
Yeah, in the front, right? The
Yeah.
front line. I remember Darlene told me that.
So when the Board of Education decided, well, you have to send your kids to Liberty Street School. Oh, it was the worst thing that could ever happen. So they lost out on pupils. So that's when the enrollment started to get low. So they decided to close it. Then they knocked it down in 81.
Oh, just in 81?
Yeah, Brookdale used it until the new one on Broadway was built. And then they didn't need it anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
A long road. So what we got up next?
Now, of course, now Bucky has a center named after him.
Yes. And that center, so when they built, because I can remember over there slightly. Was he still living when they made that?
No. He died in the early 70s.
How did he die? Was he?
I think he had a heart attack.
Really?
So the black community was vibrant. They had barbershops, stores in that little area. They really didn't have to go a whole lot farther, except for your job, of course. But other than that,
we had everything
was right in that little area.
We ain't had to be bothered nobody.
Walk to Broadway to the A&P or something like that. But then you didn't have to be bothered too much with it. Like Mr. Bartee they had their own luncheonette. They had a gas station down there.
Yeah, the gas station over down there where they building that supermarket.
Right,
I remember that.
That was Johnny Henson.
I remember that.
So Johnny Henson went from having a gas station to Tally Hall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had their own taverns, 45 and Tally. They didn't have to go too far. They didn't have to
Even
go
Eccles.
too...
Eccles, too, was right around the corner, neighborhood bar.
So the white merchants, they liked the business, but they didn't have to depend on it. They liked the business, so they're not dependent on it.
I don't even...
And the changes in the black community now is diverse.
It's very diverse.
Yeah, it's very diverse. And of course, the black population is declining. I think I mentioned that before. It's not as many as it.
It's expensive to live in Long Branch.
Yes, it is expensive.
It's expensive to live here. And if you aren't in a position, if you don't have a house and if you don't have property that you own in Long Branch, because the rent is out of control.
Yes, it's very hard.
It's out of control. So I can understand that.
Yeah.
I can understand.
So
that.
of course that kind of keeps people, away because we can't afford them. A lot of white people wish they could move, but they can't afford it. They can't afford to move. And now it's getting to where either you have it or you don't. There's very little in the middle.
Yeah. No, that middle class situation is kind of fading.
Little. Either you have it or you don't.
Yeah.
It's getting to that now. Only thing that saved them, they have a decent school system. That is, I'm sure it's not perfect.
Of course
but
not.
It's better
it's led by people.
It's better. It's decent. It's better than some of the other area school systems.
Yeah. Yeah, and Long Branch. I know. I hear people talking about this. The school system is good.
Yes, yeah,
in Long Branch. Yeah. I hear that. So, and it's definitely
they probably put a lot into the school system to keep it up to that level. I'm sure you have to. You got to have good. You got to have good teachers. You got to have dedicated teachers. You can't just have the flim-flam teaching.
Right. You
got to have a good curriculum. All that has to come together to have a good school system. The leadership is really what keeps them going. And right now, I can say, in the black community, we have, I would say, not even good leadership. I can't put an answer on why, but it definitely can use some improvements. With the blacks that we have left here.
Are we talking about school or in general?
In general.
In general. Because we was talking yesterday about how
the
our
leadership dribbles down to school.
Yeah.
It goes down. It starts, and then you got to have the kids in there. You can't leave them out.
You got to.
You got to have them in there. So because they got to look up to the leadership and say, "Oh, this is what they do. This is how they do that." They got to respect the leadership in order to become leaders.
This is very true.
So they have to be respected. And right now, our leadership could use a boost. It needs to be brought up to another level.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, I see that people say, well, it seems to be okay. And they just let it go, leave it alone.
Yeah.
Goes on for years.
Well, now with things changing, like you said, either you have it or you don't. Maybe now people will start stepping up, and
I hope they don't wait too late. I agree. I hope they don't wait too late. Because if you get too far behind,
it's
hard to get that level to get back up again. Especially like you was just saying, it's expensive to live around.
Yeah. So if you had to put. Where would you start if we had to do our leadership? Where would you start? Like, if a good leader, where would you start? Put them to help the community.
I would probably start with a local government figure who is familiar with. First, you have to have someone who's familiar with the community, because you can't get an outsider.
We don't have any black people on it. Isn't David Brown and what's her name? Miss Odessa's son?
Yeah, Bill Dangle. He's in charge of the NAACP.
Oh, okay.
Which you hear very little activity that he presently. To me, this Black History Month, he should have been the one
out here
organizing all kind of programs. At the cultural center, the church, Bucky Center. It should have been something going on the whole month.
I agree with that. Yeah.
There should have been something going on.
This is one thing for sure about Long Branch. Long Branch will definitely unite. So even if people don't live here, if you're original Long Branch and they was having something like that, they would have came and supported it.
Came. Sure.
Absolutely. They would have absolutely came and supported.
Yeah, they would have came. So I would start, I probably would start there. And then I'd have a roundtable meeting. I'd have a roundtable. I'd say, who wants to help me do this? And you'd be surprised how many people would want to help him do it. You'd be surprised. And the thing is now also, the buildings that you would need, they're available now. They're available now. Bucky Center is available. The Cultural Center is available. And so he could have used those to bring the black people together to organize a month-long program, if not 3 weeks. There should have been something going on for at least 3 weeks.
Yeah. We have to do better too.
To get the kids
excited.
To get the kids involved. These kids, what we just talked about,
they're like lost.
They don't have a clue. They know who Rosa Parks is, and they know who Obama is, and know who
Martin Luther King.
Yeah, they know who that is. But other than that,
I told Omar he wanted to do a report on Martin Luther King. I said, so you're done doing those reports. You're never going to do another report on Martin Luther King while you're in school. No. No. It's so many other greats.
Right.
That we can celebrate.
And so many reports on Martin Luther. I don't know what else you can tell us about Martin Luther King. There's been movies.
That part.
Countless documentaries. And I didn't even see one. Not that I was looking for one, but I didn't even see one on like PBS. They usually have one.
I haven't either. Like maybe not even on his birthday. But
his birthday is January
the 15th, right?
Or the 15th, yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't see any documentaries, and I know the inauguration happened on his on the day that we observed him. So they definitely wasn't trying to do
they wasn't going to change that.
No, they wasn't going to try and change that, but they're also not they're not going to care. They released his the confidential documents on his day.
Oh yeah, there's very little, not a whole. Same thing with Rosa Parks. There's not a whole lot more you could say what happened to Rosa Parks because a lot of it's already been said. There's been movies and documentaries and so how much more can you say about Rosa Parks? How much more can you say about Obama?
Yeah. I mean, for real.
You know what I mean?
For real. So our neighborhoods aren't in crisis.
I agree that the neighborhoods now are in crisis. Even the neighborhoods here, they're in crisis because they're not the same people now. So the diversity is no neighborhood's the same. Neighborhoods, especially on this side of the railroad tracks.
Yeah.
Maybe if you go on more on that other side of the railroad tracks, maybe some of them might be still the same. But on this side, none.
It's very international.
No neighborhoods the same. They live places that blacks never lived. Uptown, blacks never lived uptown. Over top of those stores, couldn't live over there. Couldn't live over there. You could even. It was so hard for blacks to even buy. And sometimes in places in the city, and now the black churches, they used to play a role in the community, but not like they used to.
I'm even thinking I was thinking if we had somebody to, like we were saying yesterday, we don't have a preacher at our church, and I'm thinking even if we had a good preacher. Even if we did have a good preacher, he's not going to be from here, so why don't he care? You know what I'm saying? Community outreach is not going to be the same to him.
Right. His role in the black community is not going to mean that much. It's not going to mean that much. It'd be nice, but his role in the black community wouldn't be that much. It's the leadership that it would take more than a priest to improve it. It would take more than a priest. It would be nice to have the church involved. None of those churches are involved with anything but city. The method AME is getting smaller than Second Baptist, from what I understand. They're in a financial crisis. They're in an attendance crisis. People don't come to church.
No. Well, this is something for sure that COVID taught us, that we don't have to leave the house at all.
Well, so, that's true.
Yeah,
okay.
that really changed the game of a lot of things too.
Right.
I know, like, shoot, I'm 49. If I wake up on a Sunday and it's 11 degrees, Zoom.
Yeah,
And so think about somebody who a 75, 80
I'm not hurrying up and to go to no church. That's probably not going to happen.
No, so people don't have to do it. They don't have to.
That's the funny thing now. Like you said, I mean, the COVID changed our life drastically. Drastically.
Drastically.
COVID and two things: Hurricane Sandy and COVID.
Ooh, honey,
in my lifetime, they made everybody equal, honey.
Hurricane Sandy.
I don't have nothing, and you don't have
Hurricane
nothing.
Sandy humbled the
Waiting in the same lines for $10 worth of gas, and that's all you get.
And hope you can get it.
Hope
you
there's
don't
still
run
something
out.
left.
Hope you don't run out in the line trying to get it.
Still something left. But
oh my gosh,
that jerked.
Yeah, we didn't have electricity for 9 days.
Neither did I.
But I know. But we made do. We all got the same. Yeah, we made do. We had bonfires every day. We had a fire pit. We cooked all the food.
But Sandy and COVID, in my lifetime, they leveled the playing field.
That's right, because it did. And
you didn't have nothing. You ain't no better than you. You don't have nothing.
Nope. Sandy was so messed up. I remember looking down the street on the other side of Halbert, and it was all lit up. And all down here, it was dark.
It was dark.
So, like, it was a humbling experience for everybody.
Very humbling.
Very humbling experience.
I stood in the gas line hoping that they don't run out.
Yeah.
You're only getting $10.
I remember we drove up to, I don't know if you was in the car with us, we drove up to, like, New Brunswick trying to get grab. Yeah, and then I had to, like, cut the line to get in because I thought we was about to run out of gas. Yeah. Those days was, like, no extra, like, no, you can't be driving, no joy riding.
Right,
like, anything you do had to be with an intention. Yeah. Everything had to be with an intention, for real.
Stores were closed. There was... The playing field was like even like you ain't got no more than you. Same as you got.
Oh,
nothing.
Sandy was terrible.
It was bad.
Sandy, stay away.
Put everybody on the same playing field.
I know, and I just feel like the churches, they definitely played a big role. I remember back in the day.
The churches are still hurting.
Yeah, but I remember
still hurting.
Even they did more stuff. The first Broadway play I seen was Mama I Want to Sing, and Grandy had a bus and we went up there.
Oh yeah, they had
They used to always have good fundraisers.
Fundraisers, yeah. Well, see, this is the change in congregations. The congregations change. Those people are older now. They're not as active as they used to be. And financially, some of them, they can't afford it like they used to.
Because things are very expensive.
Yeah, can't afford it. They want to fix their income like everybody, like most everybody else.
Yeah,
So it's not like they say, well, I got this, You don't have that anymore. You don't have that anymore. I think they're down to one fundraiser, and that's men's fashion. We were talking about that yesterday. I don't know where they get to.
The fashions.
Me either. I don't know where they get them from.
Oh, let me fix that.
They charge you $25, but I don't know where they get them from.
That's hilarious. Gotta put TikTok back before you leave us. Wow. Okay, so where are we at next on our list of information? So
But we could talk about, are there any unique black traditions or events? Black traditions they haven't changed much. The people change. The traditions don't change. The people change the traditions, and some of the traditions that used to be gone, they don't do them anymore. Like the fundraisers you just said, they don't do those anymore.
I mean, even a community garden.
Oh, they don't do things like that.
Yeah,
Which they easily get involved with. Don't cost nothing to do that.
Yeah, it sure don't. It sure don't. I think people probably just don't want the responsibility either. And then having to urge people to have the same desire that you have and want better. People are very stuck in mediocrity. They don't.
Yeah, that's.
They're not trying to evolve. Everything is fine, just how it is.
That's
where they think.
You need good leadership because other than that, just like you just said, I'm good.
No.
You don't want to improve anything? Well, let me think about it. Now, after that, I forgot all about that.
Yeah,
it's not there anymore.
The desire.
Yeah,
it's the desire.
Man, once you lose the desire, there's nothing in the middle. Either you have or you don't.
Yeah, for real. And if you have to have the desire, that changes. That's evolution. You have to have the desire to want to whatever.
To move
and that's
up,
going to be
to improve something. Your lifestyle, your way of living.
And that's the evolution. And people
gotta have that. And
you
gotta have that, and that involves you gotta have good leadership to promote that. And you gotta get it to the young first, because the young gotta push it up. That's another thing. The young, their way of thinking is totally in a different mood, a way of thinking.
They're
in for a rude awakening, is what
they are absolutely in for a rude awakening, and they have no idea.
Not a clue.
I'm
not
like,
a clue.
What y'all know about an encyclopedia? It was like, what? Yeah.
No,
they have microwave information right now. They don't have to go read nothing. It's right there. And that's sad. That's sad for them.
That starts at home.
Yeah, that does. That does. So what other kind of events? Well, I want to talk about, we have to talk, we were talking about the first blacks. I don't want to get away from this. We have to, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the first black cheerleader.
Oh.
My Auntie Barbara.
Right. She was a part of my... He was a part of my research. Barbara would come into the library, and she would sit there, and she could tell me a lot about it.
I bet she could.
Yeah, and I was glad to see her because I knew she came in at 12. I'm out here at 3. She leave at 5 or 3. Her and I talking. I said, with Barbara leaves, I know I won't be here long. But she could tell me a lot about the old Long Branch.
Wow.
So she knew about it. So she was very helpful in a lot of my research.
Yeah,
I know him. They used to live over there. They live right behind us in the old Grand Court. I said, yeah. Oh, really? I said, yeah, I know them, yeah.
One time for my aunt.
But she would sit there, and I'm trying to do Black History, and she would never tell me she was the first black cheerleader. I had to find that out later.
Well... I love my Aunt Barbara, but one thing she was absolutely...
She didn't want to talk about it.
She was vain, honey. She was vain. That means...
She was in one of my programs. The first one I did. I had her and I had Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright was 97 at that time. But Mr. Wright was had perfect attendance in school.
Oh wow!
So I was doing a project on Liberty Street School, and he happened to pop up. I was like, these guys don't say nothing.
But I know when I said sometime Barbie one time. Yeah. Oh, this is the one that was 96.
This is the man I was doing a project on, and his daughter. I see her at church, I said, did you know the father, when he was going to school, he did a whole school, he had perfect attendance? He goes, oh, I didn't know nothing about that. I said,
that's something that I would think you would ingrain in your children growing up.
It's right here in the paper.
I would think that was something they would say, get up, go to school. I ain't missed one day. Like, so I feel like that's something we would have heard.
I said, can you get him to come to the library and do something, talking about him growing up in Long Branch? Mm-hmm. She said, I'll ask him. But he came. He came.
I love that.
And he talked about... He grew up on Potter Avenue. And he was
Potter Avenue. That's not there anymore. That's over there where that is that where that new circle is?
No. Potter Avenue is right opposite the Second Baptist.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember
it's Wilbur Ray. It's Wilbur Ray now.
That's what I remember.
Yeah,
that's what I remember.
It's Wilbur Ray now.
Well, I know when I said to Aunt Barbara one time about being the first black cheerleader, she said, I don't want to talk about that.
I said, Bob, you see me doing this and that. I had to find out from somebody else, and you sitting right here.
The fact that she would be attached to the first of anything was not, Aunt Bobby was not.
You see me sitting right here doing this, because I was using the computer, and you ain't say nothing. No. I had to find out from somebody else. So then, after I started finding stuff on my own, in the newspaper, like these, I had to find these on my own.
Oh, did she?
You think she would tell me that?
She got a scholarship.
Yeah, she ain't telling me.
Didn't she win? She won some kind of debutante ball. She won a something. Let me get a closer picture so y'all can see my Aunt Barbara. She's so. I'm gonna put a picture. Let me tag this right now so I can put it.
Well, them girls I only have one of those books.
No, I got pictures of her. I'm going to put a picture when I do the B-roll. Look how cute she was. Oh, she's so pretty.
12 of them cost $300.
What?
So, 12 of these.
These?
Yeah, and I can't. He won't do anything less than 12. So if 12 people want, I have to get 12 people that want one.
Right. They have to definitely do a down payment.
Yeah.
They would have to do a deposit.
Either that or I'd have to charge them.
So how much would this be? How much?
I think like if I got a dozen of them.
Let's ask the calculator. I can't see.
He won't do less than a dozen.
That's crazy. It's like 300.
And I still have people asking me for them. I said I don't have them more.
$25.
Yeah, see, I was charging them 18.
Yeah, you for you to. That's not even you getting any money.
No.
I mean, I feel like we could jazz it up and charge 30.
So
I like it. I like this information.
If I didn't, this little book is. But if I didn't do this, it would be nothing. It would be nothing.
That's crazy.
I gave her maybe 2 or 3 to some older Long Branch people that I knew, and they used to come into the library and say, "Oh, you got so much." There's people looking for the stuff you have here, Mr. Hamlin. He was very good. He was very encouraging. He said, "Don't stop.
Don't stop." Yeah, absolutely.
He said, "Don't stop." He said,
yeah, I mean, listen. If you wasn't here right now, I wouldn't know. And we still got some stuff to talk about. Yeah. We didn't even get to the other stuff.
He said, "Keep moving. Don't stop." He said, "There's stuff you have here that people are looking for," and he was right. He was right.
We could do a whole segment just on Long Branch and the great of Long Branch.
Yeah, he was right. So I had to give him him and his wife.
Of course.
And I said, "This is another man. This is Detective Matthews. He was the first black detective."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. And what year was this? What year did he become the first? I don't even know. I'm trying to play myself.
What year is? You see, he passed away in '83.
So this
is probably like 60s. He the first black detective. So I knew that Black history was there.
Right.
It just had to be brought out. And those were white ladies working in that local room. They didn't care nothing about no blackers. So they didn't have them. They had plenty of the white history though.
I was gonna say we can't talk about one. We can't talk about one without talking about the other.
Right. The room was full. I was like, what is the black stuff?
I mean, history.
Opening the book, opening the drawers. I said, it's got to be around here somewhere.
Nothing.
There was none. That's oh my God.
Well, history is history, and
you got to preserve it.
we have to preserve it, but we can't tell one side without telling the other,
No.
which gets us into, we understand, we can certainly understand why Long Branch was pretty racist.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, the Klan used to run through here.
Yeah.
The Klan. So.
And in certain areas, like the North Long Branch area, that was Klan area.
So here you can see where.
Yeah, that was Klan area.
We're here now. Right here, this photo. This is.
Right on Broadway.
They were heading towards the beach.
Yeah, heading towards the beach. They're coming from uptown to where that cultural center is. Mm-hmm. Past there, coming all the way down. That's the cross. Look at that black cross.
So, but the other ones had white hoods on. I guess those were like, when they wear a black hood, what is it, like Grandmaster?
You're upper.
Wow.
Yeah, you're upper when you wear.
They got a whole cross. They was organized. I know I was reading some.
They were very organized.
I was reading this one article. It said I can't even read that. It was saying how the cops were there, but it was very peaceful.
Right.
And the cops were there like thinking it was something to happen. It was something was going to happen, but they said they were very peaceful. But this is one thing that we did. We stayed inside.
Of course.
I can't even find it. I read an article yesterday. It was like,
coming out until they're gone.
What did the black people do? We stayed inside
until they're gone.
Like,
are they gone yet?
If they walking around this blatant,
hating,
and this blatant, you think I'm about to be out here in these streets?
Hating.
Jasmine's
out there.
Jasmine's over here. She's like, Uncle Big. Hey, Jazzy girl. Yeah, that's crazy. What about this one? I want to see, because this other one. This is when they have all the white on.
Yeah.
This one. This part. This
right there.
Now, yeah.
See, those are the regular members. The blacks are they're the upper.
And this event this was for 4th of July weekend, correct?
Yes.
4th of July weekend and
1924.
1924.
Yeah.
And this was a really big weekend. This what did they say? Like about 2,000 people came was here for that.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. They didn't. The whole month of July they didn't even print a paper. The whole month of July.
They didn't print a paper.
No daily record. No.
Why? I wonder.
No daily record.
But the Klan was very. Their headquarters. Found us out talking to Uncle. Their headquarters was at Monmouth Racetrack. Then the one, I hate that I'm this far away. This one, okay, so it says the 140th, let me go back to that one. So the 148th birthday of America.
Look how many showed up to between
20 and 30,000 Klansmen at Elkwood Park in the name of religious and political freedom. By demonstration against Governor Al Smith. I would like to see about Al Smith.
Yeah, he was the governor at that time.
He must have been for equal rights. That's probably
he wanted equal rights, but that's what they wanted. They wanted to get rid of him.
Of course. Now I can't see this.
They wanted to get rid of him.
Oh, I can't see that one. But then I seen where they bought a portion of. So Monmouth Park, as it is now, did they buy that whole thing? Was that whole thing Elmwood Park?
Yes.
Wow. So they bought that whole park.
And the 30,000, they came from three different states: Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and New Jersey.
Three states, 20 to 30,000 people.
Yeah.
That's scary.
I think the parade was maybe 2 or 3 hours. Could you imagine a 3-hour parade with all those people with some white things on, marching down Broadway?
That's scary. I can't imagine. I can't imagine. That's scary. I can't imagine.
That's a lot.
That's
a lot.
That's very bold too. Very bold. So I wonder, do you know when did they say y'all can't come in here and do that?
Oh, yeah, it was the year after. So what happened was, the people that used to come to Long Branch for the summer, when they found that out, they stopped coming.
Oh, really?
They stopped coming.
So the bennies were good for something.
Right. They were going to Saratoga instead of coming to Long Branch. So Long Branch took a beating economically. Mm-hmm.
It's always about the money.
Their summer revenue was down.
Yeah, we're a short town.
Yeah, because the Klan was present. So I think the Klan hanged around here for like 2 years, and then they start going south. They start moving south. And Point Pleasant, those places were all Klan places. We used to read papers about having big rallies in Point Pleasant and Wall Township. They put a cross in the black man's yard.
Really?
In Wall Township, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, they moved out of they moved them out. Once they found out they wasn't really welcome, they kind of eased them. Asbury had it bad. They had to shut some of Asbury down. Asbury had it bad, so they started moving more and more. But at one time, Monmouth County was like,
yeah, I know.
We got this.
And even Monmouth County, I want to say like Monmouth County is like one of the most racist, one of the most red red counties or whatever. It's a Republican county.
They said, we got this. They had the Keyport area. They had, and churches. Churches was inviting them in. That church in North Long Branch, that was a Klan area over there.
Which one?
The one on Atlantic Avenue. It's closed now.
Oh. But what about that one they marched? That one that's still there?
St. Luke's.
That's still there.
On Broadway. That's where they changed from regular clothes to that white stuff. That
Not the white
them
stuff.
sheets on. Put them sheets on.
Put the sheets on. Had dressed
Klan
up.
out the Klan church.
Jeez. That
So it was strong.
So when did they sell Monmouth Park? I feel like I remember.
The Klan lost Monmouth Park because they didn't pay taxes. They didn't pay their taxes, so they sold Monmouth Park.
So, well, who actually owns Monmouth Park? The city of Long Branch?
No, the city never owned it.
Well, who owns Monmouth Park?
It was privately owned.
Oh.
And they used to have, they'd have festivals and things going on.
Mm-hmm. They still do that.
They still do, yeah. But at that time, the city didn't own it. It was
Wow.
privately owned. And they would lease it out. They would lease.
Oh yeah. Okay.
They would lease it out.
Well, yeah, because you got those. They got the offices over there too. The Monmouth Park offices.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a whole corporate situation.
Yeah, they would
Wow.
lease it out. They used to have shooting matches out there. And it was an open space.
Shooting matches.
Yeah, but the guy said pull. And that thing comes out. And they shoot it out. Contest. Things like that.
Wow. The audacity that people had back in the day. The entitlement too. I mean, it still resonates today, but it's not as bad because people will definitely check a person now. Like what? They would be so scared to walk Long Branch right now with some.
Oh no, yeah.
Honey,
no, they couldn't.
it's so diverse here.
Yeah, it's too. Yeah.
It would be a rainbow of people, literally a rainbow of people whooping their ass.
Yeah, it would be a problem.
They are so not welcome here. We don't welcome any kind of. We're a melting pot. We love everybody here in Long Branch.
I don't think they could. They might still exist, maybe.
I'm sure they exist.
But
Quietly.
they just don't wear them.
Yeah, no, they wear police uniforms and
Things like that. The business suits.
and
But the hate
judge
act-
robes and stuff like that.
But the mindset is still there.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
like you back. I ain't never did. I ain't going like that. You can't make me like this. I ain't gonna do it.
That has, and this is one thing I had to say about our family. Like I was telling the viewers before, I didn't know about racism until I went to school. And what's crazy is because I told them to. My grandparents was racist. My grandy was racist as hell. He dealt with white people, but he did not like them. And understanding where they came from, you get it. But our family, we embrace everybody. That's why I couldn't. When
I can't remember.
I learned about that, I was like, wait, white people don't like black people? It's always different color people here.
Yeah, I can't. It was probably there, but maybe I was just too young to recognize it. Because we didn't go to segregated schools. We didn't have that kind of background to have hate.
Right.
It wasn't there.
Well, we
So
was
it
learning.
probably was been there, but
Absolutely. Well,
didn't recognize it.
We was learning about Martin Luther King and
That's true.
the Jim Crow
Yeah,
and all,
yeah.
and that's when I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And like I felt like my mother had just hoodwinked me for all these years, and we had to talk and like we don't judge people based on where they look or where they come from. Nah, that's not what. Be proud of who you are and where you come from. but you don't look at nobody different based on where they come from or how they sound.
Yeah.
You know, I tell people, I be like, honey,
it was a while before.
It's a national immigrants up in our family.
It was a while before I could say like I truly recognize it. It wasn't right away. That's for sure. I was a little bit older. It wasn't right away. I definitely can remember that.
Wow.
So with the segregation, as far as we knew was, this is our side.
Right. You just did it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like the same way it is in Mount Vernon, like Georgia. We stay over here.
Right.
It's nothing to do with we just
right.
We stay over here.
This is where we.
It's just like a man came to my son. He gonna buy a house. I said, no, we don't live over there. Don't you buy no house over there. We have our own space.
That's the way I seen it. It was a while before.
Yeah.
No, we can't go over there. No, we can't go over there. Oh, that's all right.
So, do you have a favorite story or an individual from Long Branch that the Black history resonates with you?
I don't have like a favorite story. I was lucky. In the neighborhood that we grew up in, the Rooster Boot.
And why do we call it the Rooster Boot?
Because most of the people who had there had chickens. And of course, you could hear them crowing in the morning.
Still.
But the good thing, the chickens never, wherever their yard was, they never left. Never seen chickens out in the street.
Can you imagine?
They sit right in their yard. They were well-trained chickens. They were well-trained chickens. But our neighborhood, we had fruit trees, grapevines, plum trees, cherry trees, apple trees. So in the summer, it used to be the best. When we got out of school for the summer, our neighborhood was one of the best.
Yeah.
And it was mixed. It was a mixed neighborhood.
But even then, like if it was long as no outside hate coming in, children got together because you ain't had no social media. You had to interact.
We definitely interact. We had the mailman lived 2 doors away, Mr. Sousa. He was a mailman, and his father grew the best peaches you could ever imagine in the backyard. And every time he'd let us come in and eat some. And then across the street, the Joneses had three apple trees. We used to tear them up.
Really?
The McCaskills had a cherry tree. They had a big grapevine. So when we were kids, our neighborhood was very respectful neighborhood. Very respectful neighborhood. So I was lucky to be around respectful people like that, and we played our little baseball games and things like that. See, that was a lot of neighborhoods weren't that lucky as we were.
For the
private
diversity.
Neighborhoods, it was a whole different breed. It was a different breed.
I know. I remember you told me a story about one time over there. You and somebody else was riding bikes over there by Springdale. It wasn't in
Springdale.
Y'all got chased out of there.
That was Little Italy.
Y'all got chased out of there from over there.
Yeah, that was Little Italy. But they had basically the same thing. They had a church, Holy Trinity, and they had a school. Well, the black community had churches and a school, and they kept mainly to themselves. They didn't need how to go out.
So they didn't want you coming over there.
No. And the reason that they had Little Italy because they couldn't buy and live anywhere. They had
that's what's crazy to me.
They had to come together and form their own little area, which they did. And they had
But to exclude someone because you know how it feels to be excluded. So to exclude someone, it's just mind-boggling.
And of course, they never came over, say, on this side of town, unless they had a relative over here. But Fifth Avenue, I can remember that next street over, that was all white.
Really?
All white. From Broadway to Atlantic.
Wow. That's a long street, too.
We ride our bicycles through there, and there wasn't no stopping because there was no black people to stop. That was all white.
Well,
the neighborhoods have changed dramatically a lot.
So
Long Branch has changed a lot.
It has.
It has changed a lot.
It has.
And I'm
But-
sure there's going to be more changes.
Absolutely.
There's going to be a different breed of people coming in.
Well, I mean, I know I've been inspired sitting here listening to you. I feel like I want to do something. I want to do something to really put the spark back into town. And I'll be feeling like I'm cheating on Neptune. But guys, so we're about to wrap this up because we just are. Our time is there.
Yeah.
But do you have any? You got any other? Wait a minute. What is that?
On Broadway, they clapped sometimes and cheered. That's cool. Some of them were glad to see him.
Wow, we're talking about the
Klan.
The Klan here. Wow, I want to see. I want to look up Al Smith because you see, look at the low chant. We want Al Smith.
Yeah.
They wanted Al Smith. They ain't had no time for him.
No, they wanted. He was a governor at that time.
Let me see what he looked like. I want to look. I want to talk about.
Yeah, they wanted Al Smith. They wanted him out.
You had to pray for him.
Yeah. Yeah, Al Smith, his life wasn't worth a dime. To them, anyway.
Right. And he was what? The governor?
Yeah, he ran for governor.
Let me see. We can pull him up. This has been so informative. I know. No.
That's him?
That's him?
Yeah, that's him.
Oh, it says former governor of New York.
Oh, from New York.
Heart attack. Let me see.
And he died in 44? Sure did.
Let me see.
Oh, he was governor of New York.
If this, I don't even know if this is the same one. It might be somebody else. New York.
You might be right. I thought it was from New Jersey, but you might be right.
He was Irish and Italian.
Yeah. They didn't like Italians. They didn't like Jews, blacks, or Italians.
He was the first Roman Catholic to be nominated for president of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, either way it goes. Wait a minute.
Yeah, they didn't like blacks, Jews, or Italians. They didn't like them at all.
Well, I'm here to say, guys, that, listen, it's Black History Month, but we got to celebrate Black history all the time because we are the only race that has been erased or tried to be erased. And, you know, we come from kings and queens, and it's important that we know where we're from. So, and it's not just Black history, it's history, because so many people are just misinformed about
what?
Our Black history and why things are the way they are. They just think we're like some lazies, where it's a lot of stuff behind. There's a lot of red tape, you know, for us. We could just go somewhere, so many other places with. That's a good thing. Systemic versus systematic racism.
Yeah, systematic racism.
Systematic is it's a lot of that behind.
Yes.
You know, like
actually,
it's real.
That would probably not fade away.
No.
Because that's the only thing that they have left to actually hold on to. Is systematic racism. That involves employment, housing, and education.
Housing. So, I did something on environmental.
So they still have a grip on us for that and those three systems, and it shows.
Yeah.
The jails are full, unbelievable. It's like, man, they don't mind locking you all up.
They don't.
That's part of what they want to do to keep us ignorant.
And it's like you gotta go spend time.
So much easier to handle when we're ignorant.
Yeah, it's and when you gotta go spend all that time in there to realize that you could have had a doctorate degree by the time. By the time you get out, you could have had a doctorate degree.
Unbelievable. They want to keep you ignorant. They don't want you to get smart enough, and we really don't want them real smart.
Yeah. And this is why absolutely I have time out, because we gotta elevate the culture. We gotta elevate the culture. We gotta inform the culture. To be better, to level up, you know, put some desire back in our lives and make things uncomfortable for ourselves. Step it up. That's what we have to do.
Oh, you got to step it up, man. Like we were saying, either you have it or you don't.
Yep. And you can have it. You have to get out that mind frame. Yeah, you have to get out that mind frame.
You got to get it
down here. You can get it.
You can get it.
You gotta want it. You gotta desire to want more. It's all about the desire. That is the beginning of your evolution. The desire. You gotta
want more. Then the plan and what he wants for you.
Yes.
You know, he don't want nothing as far as he's concerned. I don't see him. We'll lock him up again.
Yeah.
That's a business.
It's a whole business.
It's a business.
I was reading last night. One of those prisons donated a whole bunch of money to Trump's campaign.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
No, yeah, I went to. Yeah. I was happy to look and see Sephora didn't because I would have had a problem. I would have been like, oh my God, but
I don't doubt that.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
One guy ISIS was taking him, but on the back of his jacket he had Latinos for Trump. So I said, Latinos, they want him to close the border because they said it's too many of us over here now. We don't need them coming to spoil what we have already.
Yeah.
Close the border.
Yeah.
They were voting for him. The ones that could vote were voting for Trump to close the border. They don't even want some of their own people over here.
I can see that. It's a lot.
Can too. Now,
I talked to a lot of different.
After I thought about it, I said, I just understand where they're coming from. Because we don't need another group of them. So what happens to the ones that are already here? Either they get pushed to the side,
or the rent starts going up to $5,000 a month.
Exactly right. Yeah. So,
everything
everything that they had going for them at one time, you get more of them. They're going to ruin that. The school systems are going to be unbelievably ruined. The school system now is run over with, especially in the lower grades, Latino kids.
I mean,
the school systems it's going to change. They're going to change.
However it goes, I just want to be unified. I want everybody to be unified.
That's the hard part.
Well, yeah, but this is why it gets easier when people know history. When you tell people where they're from, even the guys in jail, if they spent time understanding how our ancestors fought and what they went through. You gonna waste your time in jail? You gonna waste this one time you have in jail? If you don't make them ancestors proud and go get you a degree or something, Yeah. So it really starts with us elevating and educating and elevating. It starts with educating.
Educating that's the start.
When you educate, then you want to elevate. Because once you educate, you be like, okay, well, wait a minute. Then you want to elevate. You had a desire to elevate. So that's what I'm here to do, guys.
You gotta start. Then you elevate.
So
then after you get your little elevation up, then we can branch out.
Yeah. So, well, all right, guys. I gotta wrap it up. I gotta go to the doctor. So, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. Please make sure you subscribe to Time Out with Kyseé on YouTube, Time Out with Kyseé and Rodney on YouTube, Facebook, everywhere. Please like, comment, so my algorithm can just be off the chain. Please comment. Say I like it or something. Just comment. It's very important. But
thank you for having me. I wish everybody a good afternoon. And if you get a chance to visit our new library on Broadway and Long Branch.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that real fast.
Fantastic library.
Let's talk about that real fast. We got to talk. I can't believe the cultural center too. The cultural center has a Black History display there until the 27th. It's right on the corner of Branchport. And was that Broadway? Branchport and Broadway.
Yeah.
So and then the new library, the ribbon cutting is tomorrow.
Ribbon cutting is tomorrow.
At what time?
4:00.
Ribbon cutting is tomorrow at 4:00. And
anyone who wants to review what we talked about, I have mountains and mountains of journals that you probably would recognize. If you started reading them, you may recognize some of the people in them. They might be your grandmother, your uncle. I go that far back.
Yep. And it's good. Like I said, if we know where we came from, then we know we got to do better. So please, I'm going to be down there. I'm going to go live down there at the ribbon cutting. So please join us. Come if you're local. Come to the library tomorrow for the ribbon cutting at 4 p.m. Yes. Uncle,
thank you so much.
Uncle, thank you so. Don't leave it. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you, guys. Until the next time, peace out.
Peace out.
All right.